Welcome into Rebuilding Your Sleep. This webinar is brought to you by Blake's Health and Fitness. I'm Danny. I'm the owner of Blake's Health and Fitness, and we're really excited for this today. First Blake's Health and Fitness webinar, so we're excited. For those of you who don't know who we are or what we do, in a nutshell, Blake's Health and Fitness, we provide a very unique and multifaceted approach to someone's health and fitness goals. Essentially, we provide our clients with a trainer to build and strengthen the body, a licensed dietitian to assess what goes in this body and how the body responds to it, and then a health coach which is me, to assess your stress, your sleep, and your habits. So that being said, sleep being a huge factor for the recovery and function of the body, we decided to put together this completely free webinar, not trying to sell you anything, just trying to pass along information and help people learn more about sleep and, try to understand why they might not be getting the right quality of rest, if you will. So here's our agenda here on the screen. So again, in this slideshow, it's going to be a little around 30 to 40 minutes. We are just going to teach you about sleep, the stages of sleep, how to increase the overall quality of your sleep without necessarily increasing the amount of time spent in bed trying to sleep. Just a few housekeeping items, because this is a webinar and it is being recorded. Chats have been disabled, microphones and cameras have been disabled. At the end, we are going to do a little bit of Q&A if anyone has questions. So in order to ask questions, you're going to click the 9 dots at the very bottom. It should be the bottom right corner of your screen. And you're going to click Q&A. You're going to submit your question. At the very end, it will send that to me and I'll be able to answer it for you. But all right, with all of that being said, let's get started. And also, before we jump right in, I do want to stress that all the information that we passed along is peer-reviewed and science-based. This is all this all comes from deeply researched methods and tactics. This is not just tips you're going to find online or on Google or anything like that. This is stuff that has been heavily researched by top doctors and scientists. All right, so we're going to start this off with a sleeping myth. Throughout this presentation, we're going to go through several sleeping myths. There should be about 5 of them, just kind of debunking some of the common things. So sleeping myth number 1, you can train your body to need less sleep. I guarantee we've all heard of this one. You've heard of your elite athletes or elite businessmen and women who claim that they can function fully on 4 and 5 and sometimes 6 hours, and it's just a normal thing for them. I do want to make this clear. This is an adaptation, not optimization. Over time, the body can get used to just about anything, but the amount of sleep that they're getting is not as good as it could be, and they're not optimizing things like their performance, reaction times, decision-making skills. These are all slowly declining over time with less sleep, but it feels normal to them because they've been doing it for so long. So just debunking that little myth to start off. All right, so here's our introduction. Why sleep? Why do we even care? Go to bed, sleep 8 hours, wake up, go throughout your day. It should be as simple as that, right? Unfortunately not. Sleep is actually the force multiplier that makes all other functions of your life better or worse. When you're short on sleep, your brain is not functioning at full capacity. Research actually shows that 1 night of reduced sleep can significantly impair your attention, reaction time, emotional regulation, and decision-making skills. Studies show that people who have less than 6 hours of sleep performed cognitively similar to those who are legally intoxicated. Yeah, a little bit alarming, right? So that being said, when you get less sleep on a regular basis, or even just one really bad night, your judgment, your impulse control, problem solving, these are all directly impacted. So that's why we're trying to pass along this information to show you how to get the best quality sleep on a regular basis. But let's talk about productivity. Studies actually show that sleep deprived individuals, again, they're less accurate, they're slower, and they're more error prone. Now, in terms of work, chronic sleep restriction actually reduces your productivity by about 20 or 30%, which is pretty significant. Working more on less hours of sleep doesn't necessarily make you less effective, but it's definitely going to make you less efficient. It also plays a critical role in learning and memory consolidation. So for those people who are constantly reading books and trying to learn more, those people who are students, living the college lifestyle and only running on a couple hours of sleep a night and cramming for your exams and things like that, the constant shortage of sleep is going to play a huge role in why you're not retaining the information you're learning as efficiently. So this also means that bad quality sleep is going to cause you to not fully lock in the skills or information that you learned in the previous day. Excuse me. So another huge pillar of why this is important, your physical performance is also a huge pillar here. So poor sleep increases cortisol. It also decreases insulin sensitivity and disrupts your hormones that are tied to energy, recovery, and motivation. Now, over time, this is going to cause your physical activity to feel much more difficult. You're just going to feel much more sluggish, and your recovery is going to be significantly slowed. Quality sleep doesn't just make you feel better, but it also makes every other effort you make in your life more effective. Now, you're definitely going to want to pay attention here because this is going to be more of the basis towards everything we talk about from here on out. So here are your sleep stages. Excuse me. There are 4 stages. You have your N1, which is your lightest sleep. Excuse me, your N2, which is just a little bit deeper, but still light sleep. N3, which is your deep sleep. And then your REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, which is your deepest level. So a healthy night's sleep actually goes through these cycles multiple times. For instance, you're generally in your REM sleep for anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes during each cycle, and you cycle in and out of that multiple times throughout the night. Now, each of these stages are important because each stage has a specific job that it has to do. So for instance, your N1 phase, when you're just getting to sleep, this is when your body's really starting to relax. You're starting to fall asleep and the body is starting to calm itself down after a long day. But this is also the easiest stage to be woken up in. Now, as you progress down to the N2 phase, your body is going to start to regulate into sleep. Your heart rate's going to lower a bit. Your breathing is going to become more regulated. Your brain waves are starting to slow down. So this stage is going to help process the memories that happen throughout the day. Now, when we get into the N3 phase, this is when it really gets good. This is your first stage of deep sleep. Your blood pressure is going to drop and your body's going to begin its physical recovery. So this is when the muscles that you worked from a good workout the previous day are going to start repairing. The tissues are going to start repairing themselves. This is also when your immune system is going to start recovering, trying to keep you healthy. This is also when your metabolism is going to re-regulate itself after a long day. Now, because this is the first stage of deep sleep, if you're in the middle of this N3 stage and then something wakes you up, whether it be a loud noise or whatever, this is when you wake up in the middle of the night and you just feel out of it. You wake up, you feel groggy, having a hard time, focusing or really understanding what's going on around you. This is when that happens. And from there, you progress into REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, whatever you want to call it. See, this is where the brain activity really does decrease, but also your dreams become very, very vivid. This is also when emotional intensity from your memories is separated out. Now, what I mean by that, if you have something that happened the previous day that was a very emotional thing, maybe you had a very strong conversation with someone and some emotions got involved and thinking about it throughout the day just made you mad, made you sad, made you happy, what have you. When you sleep at night, when you're in the REM stage, this is where your brain separates those things, separates the memory of how that conversation went to the emotions that were associated with that. Pretty cool, huh? So memories also related to learning are also stored here. So in this stage, your base stress levels also start to drop and emotional regulation improves significantly. So all of that being said, when REM sleep is suppressed, you can have, it's pretty common to have increased levels of anxiety, irritability, and less emotional control. So all of that being said, we've all experienced those things before. Making sure you get the proper amount of REM sleep is definitely essential, because increased anxiety, increased irritability, and less emotional control is more than enough to ruin a day. Even if you're in bed for a full 8 hours, it's not going to guarantee a full night's sleep. And we're going to get into why here in a little bit. If you have constant interruptions during your N3 and REM stages, you are missing out on critical portions of your sleep. And you have the timelines there on the screen. As you can see, if you are in a late night sleep and then get woken up suddenly, it can take you a good 30 minutes or more just to progress back down through the levels to get into the deep stages of sleep and start reaping those benefits. Start gaining those benefits. All right, so in this presentation, as we go, we are going to teach you how to protect the stages of your sleep, how to optimize your routines to ensure you get the highest quality of sleep, and the best habits to get into. Because the things that you do throughout the day directly impact the amount of sleep that you get at night. All right, so a little break from that. Sleeping myth number 2, sleep debt. We've all heard about it. We've probably all said things about it. It's a huge myth that I'll catch up on sleep later in the week. If you go Monday and Tuesday only getting a couple hours of sleep and just say, I'll catch up Wednesday and Thursday. It's actually a myth that it works like that. Research actually shows that extra sleep later in the week or on the weekend is not going to fully reverse the cognitive or metabolic effects that were shortened during the week. At least not immediately. It can happen, but it will take time to recover. 1 or 2 nights of recovery sleep will eventually increase your reaction time, alertness, and just the subjective sleepiness that happens from sleep deprivation. But it's going to take time to return to that initial baseline. So in a nutshell, cutting your sleep and with the intention of cashing in on it later on doesn't always work the way people think it does. The best way to go about it is to just try your best to get the best quality night's sleep every single night.